Preaching on the yeah.
No, bruh. Yo, it's a brand new show, ladies and gentlemen.
What is popping?
Let's go.
You ready, Robbie?
I'm ready. For those that do not know, it's your boy RumboyzRobbie. I am the new marketing director, writer, one of the writers, and also one half of the Goal Line Goons.
Hey, yo!
Goon Squad. What's good? For those that don't know, this is
you know what's good? Taking these people, to championships, one goal at a time. That's what our motto is out here.
Exactly. You guys saw the ending of the intro, chasing championships, one goal at a time. I'm RumboyzRobbie. That is Taco TDS. We are going to get into a week one slate walk for you guys. But before we do that, we have to give a big shout out to our sponsors, BigGuyFantasySports.com. That's right, Big Guy Fantasy Sports. Big shout out to Bob Lung, though, for giving us the opportunity to represent the brand. Dilly, bro. Big facts. Big facts. We have an interesting show to get into for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. But first, make sure that you like, you comment, and you subscribe here to Big Guy Fantasy Sports. We're going to be getting you taken care of for all of your fantasy sports needs. And, of course, starting off with fantasy football season. Taco, we did get news this morning about Travis Kelce, potential knee hyperextension. I know that my followers started, over a Rumboy started, messaging me like crazy. What do I do? I'm sure your followers started messaging you like crazy. What are your thoughts surrounding this situation as we head into week one, Thursday night football?
My immediate reaction was, oh my God. Like, it's just like, especially because it's Travis Kelce. He's been a model of consistency, a model of health. He hasn't missed any time since his rookie year, is what I'm hearing. And then to have him come into this situation, most people don't even draft a backup tight end when you go with Travis Kelce. When you're spending that kind of draft capital on a guy like this, in most cases, you're riding and dying with him. And to get news like this, it's pretty devastating.
Hey,
I'm pretty sure Chiefs Kingdom can't be too thrilled with this news either.
I feel quite the opposite in regards to Travis Kelce. I am the late round tight end truther. I don't really have Kelce much of anywhere. It's just not my style whenever it comes to playing the old fantasy football. With that being said, as stated, I've always said if you are going to go and grab a player like that, you do need to be having a solid backup. We know with first-round draft picks, no matter the format, whether it be super flex or, your standard typical single QB, we know that it's a 33.3% injury possibility with your first-round draft picks that are skill position players. Quarterbacks, for the most part, because of the way that the rule book is laid out in the NFL in this league, they're fairly protected. They're fairly protected. They take a licking and, for the most part, hey, flag on the play. You ain't set him down, on his ass good enough. With the whole Travis Kelce situation, this is a player who has been in high usage over the last 3-4 seasons. There are Super Bowl run miles, deep playoff run miles on those bones. No, none of us are here to project or predict injury, but when you kind of put that type of workload on the body, it sucks. It's unfortunate. Hyperextension within the knee is what we know of now. That's about 2 to 4 weeks. It definitely sucks. It's definitely painful. I have a couple of homies that have dealt with it. And it's not fun.
I can't even imagine. And I think for the Chiefs fans, from what I've seen is the ACL hasn't had any kind of injury. So this is more like a deep bruise, like a contusion more than like huge damage. So they dodged a bullet like long term for Kansas City. So long as they can make it to the playoffs, their big boy should be back. I think the big fears for the fantasy football community is how long do they take to get him back from the injury? I mean, if you're asking me and you're the Kansas City Chiefs, and much like what Robbie said, he has these deep miles on him. You're not going to want to push him. You need him in the playoffs. At the end of the day, if you're going to make a run, you need Travis Kelce. Does it matter if you come in as a 1 seed or a 6 seed? I don't really think so. So at the end of the day,
not if you're Kansas City. Not if you're Kansas City. It doesn't matter as much.
Yep.
It's definitely a heavy blow. It does sway things, I feel. This is a perfect way for us to segue into Thursday Night Football. The Detroit Lions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Last time that the two quarterbacks in this matchup met, it was November. It was a brisk fall, 2018 November. The world was very, very much normal back then. Jared Goff was a Los Angeles Ram. They didn't have like the huge massive stadium they had now. It was a Coliseum back then. A night of overs was hit. Thoughts on this game? Goff has gone out there. He's torched some. He has some bodies to the roster there. Pause. He has some. He's caught in. Just saying, Russell Wilson. He's beaten an Aaron Rodgers before. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think the game is going to be so much more interesting now that we are missing Kelce, because I originally thought that Chiefs would win in a touchdown. Chiefs would pretty solidly command this game. Well, with no Kelce, this is a toss-up. This is more of a like, hey, anyone could win, because what are the Chiefs going to do with no Kelce? How are they going to generate their offense? Can some of these second-round picks and Kadarius Toney and MVS finally be able to deliver? So it becomes, in my opinion, when I see this +5 spread for the Lions, very interesting. I don't like the Chiefs -5 in this kind of game. Now, to me, this could be a field goal game. This could be a dicey game. This could be Mahomes in the final drive, driving it down so Bucker could end the game kind of game. We don't know how they're going to generate offense. They might struggle early now. I mean, he doesn't have that safety net in Kelce that he always has to get that pivotal third down, to make that key conversion. Because at the end of the day, all it takes is messing up one of those third downs as you drive down the field to end the drive. And that's one of the best things that you had with Travis Kelce, is that when you needed a play, he'd get a play. And the question for the Chiefs is, who's going to be able to get the play for you? And, a lot of us are hoping and praying that Sky Moore is going to be a thing. But quite frankly, we haven't seen it yet. Race Rice, he may get an opportunity now with Kelce being down to actually play up and play in these sets. MVS, we've seen him, deliver on the occasion, but now he's going to have to step up and try and be a significant part to this offense. They're going to need him to make plays. You don't have Mecole Hardman anymore. There's no Tyreek Hill coming through that door. And the best bet that you have for an explosive playmaker other than MVS is going to be Kadarius Toney. And now the question is, can Kadarius Toney stay healthy? The rumors are that he's probably going to be available for this game. I think it makes it very interesting from a fantasy perspective on who you want to start. I think if you're hard pressed for someone, if you drafted a Judy and you have a Toney sitting on your bench, this is the kind of game where maybe now with Kelce out, you consider a Toney to go in there. I think in some of the teams where I have Sky Moore, I'm going to consider playing Sky Moore. I think I'm pretty much locked in one league to Sky Moore. Just because, I mean, what else do they really have? We've seen him make some plays in the preseason. The number one thing in fantasy football that we have to be aware of volume is king. At the end of the day, you could be a great player. Like but if you don't have any opportunity to get on the field and produce, you're not going to do much. And, there could be a guy that's not quite as good, but because he's the starter on his team and he gets the opportunity to play a goal line, he's going to outscore them. And this is going to be one of those situations where we kind of just got to see who becomes that favorite player. I know a lot of people, were drafting these Chiefs wide receivers late and taking them for speculation purposes, but some of these guys look like they might play up sooner. We saw what is it, Justin Ross, was going to be used as like a sub and part-time player. How does his usage now come into it? This becomes a team that we want to monitor. Does this mean we're going to see more passing work from the running backs? Does this mean that maybe we might see the evolution of Pacheco? I think this injury is going to be very interesting for the offensive skill set players from the Chiefs. I think we know that Mahomes is going to get it done regardless. And I'm just very curious to see the kind of strides Sky Moore made this season. And I'm interested to see if Kadarius Toney can stay healthy and produce the way he was producing for them, because he's made a lot of big plays, but the problem is he just can't stay healthy. Now, on the flip side for the Lions, I think this game becomes very interesting to see how their young rookies perform as they get thrust into their first game being on prime time. It's going to be very interesting to see how Jahmyr Gibbs, who, many people were drafting in the third round, how he performs. This is our first real taste of this Lions offense. Many people, and I say many people because I look at the ADPs, Montgomery and Gibbs were being drafted as both are like RB2s. You're talking 2 top 24 running backs, top 30 running backs in most cases. So most people are expecting them to produce right away. So I think everyone is waiting to see, what does the usage look like? How much are they going to bring Gibbs out into these wide receiver roles, or flex him out, or put him in motion and let him go catch the ball? It's going to be very interesting to see their usage. Is there going to be sets where maybe they come out with both running backs and maybe they run, Montgomery in the backfield and motion Gibbs as a wide receiver, or maybe you run with them both side by side and you have options. I don't know, but it's going to be very interesting for me to see how the Lions run this offense and they utilize their weapons and what their plan of attack is. I think last season we saw a consistency from Goff that we were looking for. I think the big thing that now we have to see is that can he perform versus the good teams? We know that he could beat up on the bad teams, but can he perform versus the good teams? Okay, that's going to be the big thing that we're going to have to find out about the Lions. I think when you look at a Chiefs team that doesn't have one of their star defensive players, I think this is a matchup where for the Lions, you have to think that they're gonna be able to score. This seems like it's gonna be a fairly high scoring game. I honestly like both of the quarterbacks if I'm doing SGP bets, same game parlays. If you're on DraftKings, looking at it right now, what I'm seeing here for bets as far as the passing props are concerned, Jared Goff is at over 1.5 touchdowns, and Pat Mahomes is over 2.5 touchdowns. If you ask me, I like both in this scenario. I know that you have David Montgomery there, and we expect him to be a goal line vulture. And with them not having their no sackle in there, you think that they might be able to run a little bit better. But I do think that Goff throwing for two touchdowns on opening day is really not that far-fetched. We're looking at a passing line of 254.5 for Jared Goff, which I don't think is really that unattainable. When you look at the amount of points that we're expecting in this game, the over-under for this current game is set at 53.5. So with this kind of a total, okay, for both teams, I think it's very feasible to see the quarterbacks eclipsing. As far as rushing props are concerned, they have Pacheco and Montgomery at 50 yards. They have Jahmyr Gibbs at 37.5. They have Jared Goff at 3.5. Jerick McKinnon at 17.5. Pat Mahomes at 17.5. That's a bit interesting. And Montgomery and Pacheco both are at 50.5. I think in this type of a game, I'm smashing the over on the Pacheco. Because you feel like with no Kelsey, you're going to probably have to lean more on the run. So to me, that seems like a very interesting prop bet that I would want to, take advantage of early. Okay. Looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with RumboyzRobbie, but I'm expecting him to come back in here soon. And until then, I guess we'll continue going over some of the prop bets that we see in this Lions and Chiefs game, just to keep the ball rolling. I think that when you look at the receiving yards, it has Jeremy Gibbs at 29.5 yards receiving. I'm smashing that all day. There's no way I think he's going to get less than 30 yards, especially when you think about how high people are drafting him. The whole community is kind of in on him being used as more of a receiving weapon. And I think that this is an early buy for me, at least, as far as passing yards. Sky Moore at 42.5. With the news of Travis Kelce, I'm inclined to believe that he's going to get more than that. And he's the starter. So, I mean, I really feel like he's going to get more than that, but we got to see. But I really think that that's an interesting little SGP. Let's put one together right now while we're waiting. I love that DraftKings still has Travis Kelce in there as an anytime score because technically he hasn't been ruled out of the game. So why would you take him off of the slate? Because he could still technically play, and some people might like the action. But for me, currently, I'm going to play it as if he's not going to play based on the information that we're hearing. It just doesn't sound the best. Let's start with the receiving props.
Wow.
Welcome back.
I have no idea. I do have an idea. I know exactly what the fuck happened. It sucked. The damn cable came out of the modem somehow by itself. But it's okay. We are back. Let's get into actually breaking down this game. I'm sure you probably already talked at it ad nauseum. And now we're just gonna run the rest of the show with no fucking interruptions, and everything's gonna be perfect. Yeah. Alrighty, so Thursday Night Football, the Detroit Lions take on the Kansas City Chiefs. I found this one quite interesting. I did buy this one. I took the Chiefs at minus 278, but I find myself now quickly ready to go into Detroit. I think that Detroit has something working with them. I get that it is still very much the Chiefs, and the Chiefs can go out there and win without Kelce. They've done it before, but then there's also no Chris Jones on the defensive side of the ball. In terms of this one, I'm now starting to lean Detroit. I wouldn't be surprised if I were to place another bet on that one. Over under coming in at 53.5. I definitely very much think that this is an over game. It's the first game of the season. Why would you not want to bet the over? I don't think that anyone wants to go and not bet the over. The Chiefs or the Lions with the ability to cover 5 there. If this is gonna be a shootout, and if there's gonna be no Travis Kelce and there's no Chris Jones, like we all know, this is happening right now. Let's go ahead, and I feel like we can lock in the Lions. Nothing is safe. It is still Patrick Mahomes. But when you just factor in who's not going to be there, and just the fact that the Chiefs still have to figure out that whole receiving core, running backs, everything, it's going to be a very interesting season for Kansas City, and it's already starting to shape out that way. San Francisco, Pittsburgh. What are your thoughts on this one, Taco? I am definitely, wherever I have George Pickens, firing up George Pickens in this matchup.
I mean, I mean, this is without being said, but obviously you're going to want to start your studs. I'm probably not as afraid to start maybe Najee Harris this week, knowing that there's probably going to be no Nick Bosa. One of those elite guys out there that you're not going to have to worry about. I think Najee's just a little bit safer, although I'm not a Najee full-on believer. I think that I'm very interested to see how they use Christian McCaffrey. When you're hearing some of the rumors that they want to take him off the field a little bit more than he was being taken off the field in Carolina. They have Elijah Mitchell. I'm very interested to see the Christian McCaffrey usage this year and how Deebo Samuels is used this year. I know that we're looking at Kittle is currently looking like he might not play this week as well. So I think you might see Deebo Samuels and Christian McCaffrey have a huge target share of this week, where they might both see over 30% of the target share in this game versus the Steelers. So that's one thing that I'm really looking to see, what happens. I know you were mentioning picking, but on the San Francisco side, I'm really looking at, what kind of usage rate and how does Ayuk shake out in this? Like, he was pushing up in a lot of drafts, but this target share is going to be very, very interesting when you talk about 4 pretty dynamic players. So that's what I'm really, really looking forward to and looking into this game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how everyone can be profitable on the offensive sides of both, for both sides. If I am Pittsburgh, across the middle, like mentioned here, the move, a lot of Fryer move. I really do think that you're going to have to run the ball. No Nick Bosa there. You got to take full advantage of it. I think the Dodgers can be profitable, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pickens comes away with the touchdown in this one. 88 yards, maybe 90 yards and a TD. It's very, 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 very well within the realm of possibilities. You got to fire up a guy like that. That is my must match up. But what are you thinking here in terms of which side to pick in this game? I'm also get us some DFS totals as well.
I mean, I'm going San Francisco all day. They're -2.5. I think they can win by a field goal. So I have no problem taking them with the spread. I have no problem taking with the money line. The over-unders at 41, which is kind of low. It's really low. It's like a 3 touchdown aside kind of game with, you know what I mean? So that's low. I'm not touching the over under on this one, but overall I like the 49ers to win this game. Steelers could always upset them. Mike Tomlin always has his boys ready. They're going to be at home. But I just believe too much in this 49ers organization as a whole.
I could see that. And I like that call. I really, really, really do. There's a lot of home dogs on this week 1 slate. And I'm sure as we go through, we'll find a few that can go ahead and pull one out. This isn't to say that Pittsburgh can't pull one out. The 49ers just always come out and find ways to win. Now there is, to Pittsburgh side, hey, we have our big playmaker on the front line. You guys don't, and maybe that's where, hey, having TJ Watt while you guys not having Bosa, seeing how that could play out. I feel like you still have to try and see if you could squeeze Christian McCaffrey into a DFS lineup some way, somehow. You're obviously going to start him in all of your regular formats, but I mean, at 8,700, highest price running back to come out for week 1. Maybe you go Najee. You're like, hey, I still want to get some of this game. Like we mentioned about the no Nick Bosa thing, if you're really believing that, this is going to be a run between the tackles game, maybe you grab some Najee, or you could just, save the extra coin and grab like a Jalen Warren or have Warren in there as a flex play for you. Speaking of Jalen Warren, man, he is finding ways to be on the field, and he's going to find ways to be on the field. It'll be interesting to see how him and Najee split. I don't think that we'll get too into that in week 1, but it'll be interesting to see how that as the season progresses. Moving forward down the line, moving forward down the list, the Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay led Buccaneers, the Baker Buccaneers up against the Minnesota Vikings. This one coming in at 45.5 on the over under a 6-point spread. Vikings favorite 245 to a plus 200 for the Bucks. We want to say this one at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, this is Vikings all day.
Yeah, this is Vikings all day.
Like,
Like,
all day.
Like enough with the Kirk Cousins memes and the whole like, did you see the game? Daddy lost today. Like enough with this BS.
You like that?
Like
we need to bring that back. Bring that
yeah,
back. That was
yeah. We need to. We're gonna get back to get back to you like that, Kirk Cousins. I'm interested to see how the Vikings shape up. Vikings, a top 5 scoring offense, especially during those playoff push weeks in fantasy football. You're firing up every fucking Viking that you have.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously you're probably not going to play, the KJ Osbornes in week 1. You may not play, Addison in week 1. But I mean, the obvious names, you're going to play Alexander Madison. Like if Alexander Madison is your RB2 or your flex, I feel like you're going to play Alexander Madison.
I'll tell you this, in DFS, KJ Osborne got juice to me. Because I'm not saying season long he's going to be it. But that first couple weeks, as the rookie's transitioning into NFL life, I can easily see him running more routes and being on the field for more and just being over the value that he's placed at in DFS. And then he'll probably be overvalued in 2 or 3 weeks. And that'll be when you jump off the ship. But I think originally in this kind of a game where you probably expect him to, shadow and put more coverage on Justin Jefferson and, Hawkinson's still going to do his thing, but if you look for a cheap priced option and a decent matchup with a shot, honestly, I think KJ Osborne is an interesting DFS kind of play.
I like that from the contrarian pick standpoint because you are going to need to be able to develop lineups that will have that contrarian play. That player that other guys in leagues may and in formats aren't picking up, whether it be a GPP or a cash game, whatever the case may be. I don't mind that piece of advice at all. I think that there's probably other contrarian picks, Jalen Warren, like I had mentioned earlier, that you'll be able to go and grab that people won't be expecting to go and do something. Maybe a Marvin Mims when we kind of get into that, talking about Denver. That situation with their receivers. A hospital room. So we'll kind of get more into that. But just in regards to this game, give me Justin Jefferson to probably have like give me Justin Jefferson for 99 plus. Give me him for a touchdown. Let Hawkinson's going to get a touchdown as well. Like, give me Madison. Just give me all of these stars in Minnesota,
and let them just. It sounds like,
yeah. Give me, of course. Give me Captain Kirk. Beam me up, Scotty. Let's go. I am all in on all of these pieces from this game. You are going to need to play some Tampa, some sides of the Tampa ball, and I think that as we saw during the draft season. The Evans and the Godwins and the Kate Ottens of the likes, Rashad White's even kind of going from mid-round values and below. You aren't seeing people go out there and spend the typical 4th, 5th rounder on a Mike Evans. What are your thoughts on firing up a couple of bucks in this game? And I think that those can be contrarian plays that people will overlook.
I mean, there's two bucks that you're playing regardless. You're playing Chris Godwin regardless, and you're probably playing White regardless.
You're playing Rashad White. I feel like
you're playing now, and his name is eluding me right now, so I'm going to tap you in, Robbie. The undrafted running back rookie who's been playing as the number 2. What's his name again?
Oh my gosh!
I think it was Taylor, something Taylor, Sean Taylor, something like that.
Let me look. Yes, that is, or Trey Palmer,
something like that.
Trey Palmer, the receiver.
No, the running back, the one that was injured, and everyone's saying he would have been a 3rd round pick, but he was an undrafted free agent signing. I think that this kid is an interesting kid. I am watching to see how much playing time he gets, what he looks like, how White looks like. For me, I'm a guy. Listen, I know not everyone got juice. Okay. Not everyone's going to last. but we need to start during the season, start keeping our eyes on certain guys in certain situations that are intriguing so we can try.
Sean Tucker. You're talking about Sean Tucker.
Sean Tucker. So that we can try, hopefully, to pick up a guy. And this Sean Tucker guy sounds interesting. He sounds very interesting. Now, I'm not saying to go pick him up. I'm not saying to go start him in DFS, but we need to start putting him on our radar, start seeing what the target shares look like, because he might eat more into this white roll than we had ever thought.
No, and that's a good observation. I mean, you kind of want to start building that watch list now. That is definitely a dude that will put a star next to his name. I know that many people have put a star next to one like Deion Jackson's name heading into the season with the whole, Jonathan Taylor situation. So Tucker, how things could work out with him and White there. Tampa did not choose to keep Fournette in a Bucs jersey. Of course, him and Kareem Hunt are still out there looking for jobs. So, hey, putting a gold star next to Sean Tucker's name, maybe around about week 5 when we're in Rumtober, we'll be talking about that. Saints Titans. This one coming in favor of the Saints at a -166 to a +140 for the only 10 that I see. Titans 3-point spread, 41 point all over under. Look, this is going to be an under. This is going to be an under. Like, unless New Orleans is going to put up 41 by them fucking selves.
I'm not.
You see 21-21 heading into like the fourth quarter.
Listen, I am rocking Saints defense. I am praying this is a low game. I am praying for what you're saying. I am just not sold on the demise of the Titans. I'm not. I just think everyone is disrespecting in the kind of coach Mike Vrabel is. We've seen Mike Vrabel take crap and go places. Okay, you add Hopkins back to this team. You're bringing Henry back. Tannehill had a rough year last year. Do I think that's the kind of player he is? No. Do I think he's a superstar? No. But do I think he's better than last year? Yes, I do. All right, this is his opportunity to do so. You have Treylon Burks, who we expect to be, pretty solid. And now that you add Hopkins, I think he has more value to me because you're expecting Hopkins to take away some of those defenders, give him some better opportunities. And all of this opens up Henry, the way those three can feed into each other. Chig is someone that you've been into as an athletic tight end that can make plays. I'm not sold on the demise of the Titans. Yes, I think this game is probably going to go into the under. Yes, I think that what the Titans are going to want to do is they're going to want to ball control, drag this bad boy out, hope their defense makes some plays, and run off into the victory. I think the Saints will win, but I think this 3-point game is pretty right. I think it's going to be a field goal game. I think it'll go back and forth. I think it's going to be a rough game. I don't see the Saints really scoring that much either. As you're going to go into this game with Jamal Williams as your number 1 running back. So I don't think you're going to get him out of the running game. You're going to have to expect big days out of Juwan Johnson and Chris Olave, which is an interesting guy for DFS, Juwan Johnson, as your tight end pick, because he's not going to cost you much. You know that you're not going to have the running game, and that could give him an opportunity in the red zone to come away with a touchdown.
This game I find super interesting. I like Saints by 3. I think that's the way that you play this. Even still, you can, if you don't want to take the juice there at a -115 on that 3-point spread, you could just take the -166 on the outright and then parlay it with a couple of other things. With that being said and stated, I do expect a big Olave day. There's no, I don't see Olave not having 75. Like if you find like a nice juicy 76.5 type of line out there for an Olave prop, I'm so willing to buy that. Olave, a guy that 78% winning his routes against man coverage. A lot of you guys are probably thinking, well, what the hell is happening on the other 20%? Well, he's likely facing his own in that scenario, or either he's running some sort of a 7 or something of that nature on the route tree. With that being said and stated, I do think that it can be Juwan Johnson and Olave being the big producers out of this game. I think that Carr is going to be serviceable for you. 2 QB formats, super flex formats. I definitely feel like, you can toss Carr out there. Carr should not be your leader in single QBs. There's other more consistent guys that are going to be hitting, when we talk consistency, hitting in that 13 to 18 percentage point range, that you can go out there and you can get, even guys in that 18, 23 percentage, consistency point range that you could very well go ahead and take a look at, Daniel Jones or something or the other. I'm not, with this game, I think I'm good on the quarterbacks outs that are not named Carr. Olave, yes. Derrick Henry is an obvious. You have to fire up Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, even in a game where it's an under, he can score you 23 fantasy points in a day.
Man, listen, I'm if Burks is healthy, I'm probably gonna start Burks in this game. Unless I have really good options, I probably do start my Burks shares. In desperation heaves, I still wouldn't even play Ryan Tannehill.
Burks as a flex. Burks as a flex play this weekend. I think I still caution.
I don't think he's not a confident flex play, but he is a flex play because he could get 60 yards and a touchdown. He could get 75, 80 yards.
I'm not starting Treylon Burks with confidence yet. I'm not there yet. Yeah. I'm not there yet. I'll throw Hopkins out there. I'll throw Hopkins out there week 1 just because he's DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep. Treylon Burks, you're put in there in a pinch. You're like not like if he was fully healthy and he had that rapport in training camp that we were starting to see, it'd be different.
I would hope that you're not in a pinch in week 1. The only pinch that you should be in is dealing with this Travis Kelce situation.
Depends on if you draft Judy.
We'll talk about Denver later. The Houston Texans and the Baltimore Ravens. Houston coming in with a rookie under center, and playing against rookie quarterbacks is always interesting because you don't have all the film on them. You don't have all the NFL film. You have college film on them. They're plus 360 dog Houston, minus 470 for Baltimore. It's a 10-point spread, 44 over under. Baltimore could put up some college football type shit on him and just smack them around for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Baltimore could put up 30 on them easy.
And this is again where I'm drawing a blank here. I know there's the new coach from DeMeco Ryans? Is that the new coach of the time? Like, I don't think my boy gonna go in there and get smacked up. There's just something about it that makes me think.
I don't think he'll go in there and cover 10. I don't think he'll go in there and cover 10.
Aha. I could see it either way. Like, this is a game where you could see either outcome, and that's why 10 is so perfect for it. Because I could see Lamar Jackson and the Ravens go out and say, this is why I'm MVP.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
See the Texans say, oh, wait a minute. Y'all must have forgot. We ain't dead. We got a new kid in town. And he could deliver and lose by a field goal. I still think the Ravens win either way, but I can see the Ravens win by a field goal or they could win by a lot. You know what I mean? It can go either way.
I don't think that there's a chance.
That defense last year for Baltimore was nothing special.
They were a damn good defense. They were a damn good defense. And now you have everyone back healthy. And now it's freaking LaMarvelous back. Like, come on. You know what? Week 1 narrative street. Odell is gonna pull off some Sammy Watkins week 1 type shit.
Oh, that's kind of dirty.
I'm serious. Odell's going to go the fuck off in week 1, and then we're never going to hear from him until like a couple weeks later. Like, he won't go full Sammy Watkins where he disappears for the whole season, but like it'll be like, okay, now Rashad and Zay go out there and do your thing now.
I don't know, when I think of Sammy Watkins, it makes me think of Dwayne Bowe. I know Dwayne Bowe was so much better, but I don't know why, man. It just takes me down memory lane. But yeah, this game right here, I'm really interested to see Dameon Pierce's usage and how much catches he gets out of the backfield. How much are they going to use him in the passing game this year? Because he's a guy that, you know, especially in DFS, I like. You know, I know that you know,
is nasty.
Whatever.
Fucking nasty. That Ravens line is nasty. Like, that front four is fucking gross.
It's like I don't know, man. I'm a little worried about the Ravens. Like their window. I mean, how long? Like, obviously Lamar is gonna have it, but this iteration of this team with this coach, how much longer do you think they have?
They good. They're fine.
You think Harbaugh is there?
They're fine. You. Here's the thing: when you have the amount of talent that Baltimore has. Offensively, defensively, and then let's count that fucking special teams. When you got a kicker that can boom it from goddamn half the field, over half the field.
Is that your division winner?
No. I think that division is gonna cannibalize itself, and that's also not what we're here for. Different show. You should have been there. But yeah, no. Baltimore definitely not my division winner. But no, for the sake of week 1 though, play your Baltimore guys. I feel like you can, with the matchup like this, you can fire up Odell. You can fire up, you know, Zay Flowers. If anyone has to be the oddball out here, I feel like that is Bateman. And I feel like it will be Bateman. You're firing up Mark Andrews, obviously. The fact you're crazy if you think that, oh, well, Baltimore has all these new toys. They're not going to go to Mark Andrews. No, the first thing that Lamar is going to go out there and do is make sure that his tight end is taken care of and he gets him a touchdown. And then he's going to start to disperse that ball throughout that offense, just like we've always seen Lamar do with that target market share. I'm super excited. J.K. Dobbins back healthy, 2 years removed from an ACL. I'd even be willing to play him.
I think that's one of the biggest questions. How much share is J.K. Dobbins going to get? And if it's to what your point is, the Ravens are running it up like a college football team. Is this a game where maybe for your DFS slate, like Robbie's talking about contrarian picks, a Gus Edwards, because garbage time picks up early, he gets like fourth quarter. You need a couple of.
I would consider that as like the season.
If it's a blowout week, you think they're gonna run Dobbins like that?
Yeah, I think they will. As far as the Houston side of things, Taco already mentioned Dameon Pierce. The only other player for Houston that I think that is worth giving a start is Dalton Schultz. When you have rookie quarterbacks, they tend to lean towards the tight end. This tight end has been in the league 6 seasons. Maybe more. You could trust Dalton Schultz. I feel like he's been in the league long enough. He'll go out there and get the job done.
I think that's one where if the game script is what Robbie had just said, like if Robbie's story is true, this is a game where the Ravens run up this score and that's why I'm playing it. I think Dell becomes an interesting DFS play. From the mere fact of you're down, you're gonna have to throw. More than likely, you're going to go to 3 or 4 wide receiver sets, and that's going to give this kid an opportunity. We've seen he's had a rapport with CJ Stroud already, and again, you're not going to win DFS.
There'll be some options. There'll be some options, though. I feel like to where you don't have to have.
He's going to be cheap, though.
He'll be cheap, but I don't think that you'll need. There'll be other cheap pieces that will put up more points than what he will. Like I think that will put up points. I don't think he's going to put up points like win you a tournament. You know, I don't think that like he's going to be the piece where you're like, that's the reason why I took number 1 this week. Like,
oh no, not saying number 1. I'm saying like when you're rounding out your team and you're looking at those kind of like like you said, those contrarian plays where it's like, fuck, everyone's taking all these guys. If it's like you said,
then that's where I would probably go. That's
Yeah.
where maybe I go like a KJ Osborne in that scenario. Let me go for an offense to where like it'll be a little bit more potent. There actually will be an opportunity at scoring. We already seen that Tate Dell is going to be demanding some sort of coverage. The connection.
I love games where like
not playing at you yet. Not playing at you yet. Not a week one.
If it's like what you're saying, and the Ravens run it up, negative game script. I love some of these wide receivers. I would love to see it happen first, but if I'm throwing darts, that's an interesting dart.
We have Jags, Colts. Jags favored as a 230 plus 190 for the Colts. It's a 5-point spread. 45 wow. Is the over under. I do think this could go under. I think we could see this just barely, like the under hits just barely by the skin of our teeth, just because divisional matchup, week one, pieces still got to get flowing and get going together. I think that the Colts to cover is within the realm of possibilities because it's still a divisional game. Divisional games always have that weird mystique of, yeah, we're definitely prepared for you. Anthony Richardson can ball. The kid can ball. The kid can flat out right ball. Everyone's been hyping up Deion Jackson. I feel like you kind of have to start. Like you have to flex Deion Jackson. I feel like but you have to consider him as a flex play. I think you definitely have to go out there, purchase some for DFS purposes. You can fire up Michael Pittman. I'm not firing up Jelani Woods just yet. Whoa there, boy, don't go there, boy. Slow your road there, boy. That's really it for the Colts for me right now. I'm waiting to still see what Alec Pierce can do. I'm very high on Alec Pierce. I really think that Alec Pierce could maybe even outshine. He could potentially outshine Michael Pittman. Depending on how the connection between him and Richardson continues to shape out, but it's shaped out to be something beautiful. I'll start Evan Ingram. I'll start Calvin Ridley. I'll start both. I'm not starting Tank Bigsby just yet, but I feel like you can still run ETN. Zay Jones is actually the two receiver sets. It's him, and there's no Kirk. I feel like I hold back on Zay Jones. I feel like I kind of wait for Christian Kirk just a little bit to see how they come along. ETN, Ingram, Ridley, Lawrence, those are the pieces that I'm playing from the Jags.
I'll be honest. I don't get how this is a 5-point spread, but the Ravens and Texans are a 10-point spread.
It's the Texans.
And then you got a 6-point spread here between the Bucs and the Vikings. It's a 5-point spread between the Lions and the Chiefs. Like, I think that the Jags, if the Jags are who they say they are, they should stop in there and beat them by more than 5.
Not in a divisional matchup. Not in a divisional
matchup. You're saying it's a division matchup, but they should win by a touchdown. I don't care. If the Jags are who they say they are, they should win by a touchdown.
That's still basically taking it by 5.
I'm taking the Jags, and I'm taking the points on this one. This is one of the games, -5, fire it up. Let's go, Jags. Y'all got Calvin Ridley. Y'all talking that swag. Y'all had that big win last year. Let's go see it, Trevor. Let's see what you're supposed to be about.
This is also a completely different Colts team.
This is the first game for Richardson. There's no Taylor. You're telling me with no Taylor, rookie quarterback?
Richardson, but this is it's a whole different offensive scheme. And that's why I feel like the odds makers can. I agree with you. I'm taking Jags for the 5. I understand this, and it's just also that rule of thumb. It's a divisional game. You kind of automatically. To me, how many times have we seen divisional matchups where it's a team that's at the bottom of the division, but they end up beating the team that's the best in the division? That's like the only fucking good thing that they do the whole year. It's just because you face that you plan for this team more than others. The 5
I
is
think also
justified.
the reason why it's probably as close is the respect they have for the rookie. Like this is an electric running quarterback. As we know, throwing it's going to come with him getting out there and getting the reps. But this running, you could start that right away.
Shane Steichen is gonna. I hate saying his fucking last name. He's definitely gonna make a AR Newton 2.0. I definitely feel that. I definitely with the howitzer arm. I love that.
You know, it's crazy. I didn't expect it, but in 2 of my biggest money leagues, AR is my quarterback. Crazy. I got Cousins to back him up in one and Jones to back him up in another. So
you mean he's backing them up?
it depends on which way you look at it. One I drafted him above Cousins, and then Jones and Richardson were drafted side by side.
I think that we have to take into account that it's still a rookie, but it is.
Well, week one, I'm benching him.
It is a mobile rookie, so we'll see what happens. This one is super, super interesting. The Bengals are, or should I say the Browns? The Browns are 5-0 to the Bengals. The Bengals are 0-5 to the Browns, which is weird because the Bengals can go out and whoop the Chiefs and whoop up on Pittsburgh and whoop up on they beaten the Bills and
you know what they don't
have? The Browns.
You know why? It's
a division. It's an interdivisional thing.
Nick Chubb, baby. What do those two teams don't have? They don't have that running back. Keep Joe Burrow off the field.
I hate Joe Mixon, but no, the Bengals do have that. The Bengals do.
No,
have,
I'm not saying the
Bengals
Bills and the Chiefs. The Bills and the Chiefs. Are you saying the Bills and the Chiefs? Like he beats those teams because they don't have a running back to keep him off the field.
No, it's not the running back. Honestly, it is going back to what we just said. And this is a prime example of the dog shit team having the ability. The Browns are dog shit.
No, they're going to be better than the Bengals.
The Browns are dog shit, bro. Like for real.
Not with Watson.
Name one person out of that secondary unit for me.
Don't they still have Denzel Ward?
That is it. And how productive has Denzel Ward been?
Okay, fair enough. But I still don't think the Browns are dog shit.
The Browns are dog shit.
Not dog shit.
When anyone can literally.
the Bengals were starting Eli Apple for how long? For God's sakes.
They made it to a fucking Super Bowl.
It's Eli Apple. I'm a Giants fan. I know how bad he is.
No, actually, you don't. Literally, you.
You're telling me
don't.
Eli Apple is some star?
He's not a star, but I'll say this: y'all system back then and the GM that you had back then, no one looked good in that. What are you talking about?
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that.
No one looked good in that. What do you stop it? Stop it.
Apple.
Stop it. And Eli Apple's with fucking Miami now.
We're back to the Browns.
Look, and I was just about to bring up Myles Garrett. When you have one of the most disruptive defensive players in the NFL and you're still getting your shit pushed in, it's pretty fucking bad. It's pretty bad. Cleveland to come out and win week 1. I think that you could take it just because, one, it being a divisional game, the whole narrative of they've constantly done it. But forget that, bro. I fully expect Joe Burrow to come out and be like, yeah, y'all thought I was injured, and just go the fuck off. I don't think that none of that matters to him. He doesn't care. Jamar Chase is going to go off. I really hope that we get to see a little bit of Chase Brown. But Mixon is still there. It's gonna that Bengals team is still just as fucking dangerous. I'm not buying into the Browns at all. I don't think that the Browns are better than anyone else in that division.
Mm.
Period. I think that every single team in that division is better than them.
We're not talking about the division. We're talking about this game. And in this game, Nick Chubb is the best player in this game. And he's going to show up and show out.
I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't think that's going to be enough. I think
Here's
that you
the
have
thing
to
about the running
I
back.
think that you have to. If you're Cleveland, that's not going to be enough. You have to start really fucking pushing Deshaun to be like, yo, we need to get that Houston Deshaun back. Deshaun did not look great in the preseason. Deshaun looked like ass.
We need Houston Deshaun. I agree with you. We want him out there slinging that rock, making big plays downfield, extending plays with his legs, breaking out of the pocket, rolling out on plays. But at the same point in time, we know what the Browns do great. And they run the ball with Nick Chubb great. And I think in this kind of a game,
in 2 out of the 5 times that they did beat that Cincinnati team, Burrow was only healthy. Last year? It was just last year.
That was it. How healthy is Burrow going to be in this game?
I think he'll be fine.
I'm
not concerned about.
That's why I think that's also part of the reason why the odds makers have it at under a field goal. You just don't know. It's
a divisional game. It's a divisional game. It should be close. It's supposed to be close. It's supposed to be close. That's an automatic. As soon as I see that it's a divisional match, I'm like, yeah, this should be close. Like, even if I see like a crazy spread, I'm like, this is probably going to end up turning out close. So you should take the other team to cover. That's just rule of thumb with divisional games. It always happens. You could always expect someone to cover. You could always expect fucking an under to hit.
I can bet on one. I'll bet on a couple of things in this one. Nick Chubb getting a TD and Nick Chubb running for over 100 yards on that Bengals defense.
I mean, yeah, because that's all that they really have. That's all they have. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. That the Bengals front, the Bengals front 7 is stacked. Yeah, safety can be a little, but they do suit so well with the rest of their nickel corners and their outside corners. It makes up for that. And again, Deshaun needs to be him old self and not for 1 quarter of fucking football. Let's see here. So yeah, I'm taking Bengals by the 2.5. I'm taking Bengals money line. I think the under hits at 47.5. In a divisional game, week 1. That's asking for too much for this game to be like 50 fucking points. Arizona, Washington. This one set at 38 points. Washington minus 310. 7-point spread. DC is sold out. I guess Jonathan Gannon, first off, Jonathan Gannon doesn't know what the fuck Jonathan Gannon is doing. Let's first preference that. So I guess Clayton Tune could be the starter. Is going to be the starter. I don't trust putting a rookie out there in this situation against that defense. Someone's going to get fucking hurt. If anything, I'm starting Joshua Dobbs. Yeah, Dobbs, Tune, Basura.
You know who I'm starting in this game? Number 1 player I'm starting in this game. Washington Commanders defense. Let's fucking go, people. That is my number 1 fucking defense of the week. I don't care about, how good the defense. This Cardinals team, like they say, basura. I'm hunting every fucking week. I don't care. I don't need a steady defense. Who are the Cardinals playing? Let me try to get them. You know what I mean? This is the lowest projected over-under for the whole week. I think you have to be careful with firing up some of your Commanders receivers. I would be all in on starting both running backs from the Commanders. I'm expecting Gibson and Robinson to dominate. Sam Howell, I think he'll be serviceable. The question is going to be how much does he run? That's going to be what we really want to see, I think. But yeah, and does Terry play? Do you even need Terry to play? Do you see Terry sit?
Terry's going to play, from what we know. And Jahan Dotson this morning, he from what he was saying on Good Morning Football, he's definitely ready to fucking go. I'm actually willing to fire up both these receivers. If you are really bold. I do not fault anyone for wanting to start Sam Howell this week. When you're playing a soft ass Cardinals defense, might as well not just get the easy win on the books. You might as well take the easy dub in fantasy too. I think that you're safe. You're safe to fire up pretty much anyone and everyone in this game.
All right, here's a question for you. What percentage of survivor football players do you think is going to take the Washington Commanders week 1? Because, oh my God, that matchup is just like, you know what I mean? Well, that's the kind of one that can fuck the whole year.
Pat Morris mentioned it on Betting Pros this past week on their show yesterday, on the show that they did yesterday. And I'm in agreement with them. You should take Washington in survivor pools this year, or this week.
It's gonna be the one where it's like 90% of the people be on it, and if it because week 1 there's always crazy shit that happens. If that happens, anarchy in the tweets. Everyone's gonna go crazy.
It's gonna be fucking nuts. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm taking the under in that one. Just because Arizona's not going to do their half of the work. Washington can go out and you need Arizona to at least get a touchdown and for Washington to go out there and put up like 28, which could happen. And I could see that this is a low enough over and under to where that is possible. We saw Texas versus Rice with that last second touchdown to close out the game. Blew Texas 35 and a half point spread. We've seen shit like that, so that can happen.
How many defensive touchdowns are you predicting in this game? Because let's face it, we have inexperienced quarterbacks back there. You throw a wrong ball, and all of a sudden that's going to the house.
I think Forbes sets off week 1, and Emmanuel Forbes says hello to the NFL with the interception right away, making Jason McCourty's take of him being defensive rookie of the year very plausible. Just because for Jalen Carter to be able to have access to defensive rookie of the year, bro, you have to. Your whole team had 78 fucking sacks last year. Mm-hmm. Where do you fit in? I guess you could take Hargrave's sacks, but I mean, even still, for you to get 10, like Aaron Donald, I think his rookie year only had like 8 or 9, and that was still one of the most amazing rookie seasons for a D lineman that we had seen in recent memory. So that was tough. Getting in here to a NFC South matchup, Falcons Panthers. I am riding the Panthers at the plus 154. I'm so taking the Panthers here. 39 and a half over under. I feel like you don't touch the over under in this game. You just let this game be whatever the fuck it's gonna be. Because I could see an over hit.
I'll be honest with you, man. This is one of the toughest, if not the toughest one to call, because I mean, you have a rookie quarterback with the Panthers, and then you got the unbelievable rookie running back from the Falcons. You got Desmond Ridder now coming up to play with Drake London, and you have a pretty stout. I'm expecting a stout Panthers defense this year with some of these young guys taking their next step and being able to progress. They have a lot of high end young talent that they drafted on that defense. So, this should be the time to take a step. Like you said, this is a division game, so shit's going to get crazy. I'm just, man.
That Panthers defense is so nice. So to me, the big equalizers here are, and Drop the Mic had mentioned it on our channel on Rumboys. For me, for the Panther side of the ball, I'm starting Miles Sanders. I'm firing up Miles Sanders. Because they're gonna rely on him. I'm even willing to probably even throw out a little bit of Hayden Hurst just because we can talk about the whole rookie QB to tight end type of situation. We know that rookies rely heavily on their veterans. Don't be surprised for a lot of quick dink and dumps to Thielen.
I feel more confident with Thielen.
Just because that veteran presence. Kind of going back to that again. I still think it's early for them to kind of get Jonathan Mingo worked in, but just the way that Ridder goes through his reads, that Carolina defense is too fucking good to where you cannot take that. You cannot take that much time to try and find a passing option downfield. You can't hold on to the ball that long because those corners are ready to jump any ever route. Those corners will let receivers down the field and develop routes. And then next thing you know, it's J.C. Horn right there with the ball in his fucking hands, causing havoc. So with that being said and stated, it's the defense for me. Atlanta has none. Carolina has all of it on that side of the ball. And then I just think that Carolina is good enough and balanced and super balanced enough and knows a little bit more about their identity offensively than what Atlanta knows about their identity. Atlanta doesn't know if it's going to be all Bijan, if we're going to start getting Kyle Pitts involved. Oh, wait, but we also have Drake London. And they have so much talent that they don't even know what to do with it. It's overwhelming for their coach. So I'm taking Carolina.
I think that you're probably right. Like, if you had to put a gun to my head, though, there's just so much talent on that Falcons offense. I just can't comprehend them not being able to put enough points up to win this game. I just don't see, like, it's going to come down to the Falcons offense versus Panthers defense, and that's where this game is going to be won. Can Bijan Robinson exploit them? Can Ritter be able to use London and Pitts as the weapons they are? I agree with what you say, Robbie, but there's something in me that just keeps screaming that the Falcons got just so much talent, and this -3.5.
Narrative
they can lose by a field goal.
That to you. Narrative Street will do that to you. Yes, exactly. Derek Brown collapsed the line. Ritter sets running. Brian Burns, Shaq Thompson, Justin Houston. Like,
listen, this is the second team that I'm starting in week 1 for fantasy defenses. I drafted them already. It's the Carolina Panthers. Washington is 1 and Carolina's 2. They have a solid defense. Everything you guys are saying, I agree with in theory, but there's just something and I guess it's like you said, the narrative and the hype streak on so many of these talented guys that they spent high draft capital on that, they don't know what to do with. If you had
they haven't done anything with any of them.
Right. You're right.
And at that point, and at this point, I still don't think that they know. And I don't think that they're going to figure it out. And I think that it's going to be a while before they figure it out. And it's going to take new coaching to figure it out. This isn't a personnel on the field problem with Atlanta. This is a play calling problem. This is a coaching problem.
But I'll say this: if they go out and they lose this game and they start off that bad, that coach is gonna be fired real quick because
the clock immediately starts ticking the second that the Falcons
talent wise, they should win this game. But like you said, with the
they don't have it on defense. Here's the thing: they don't have the talent on defense. They should be able to put up points. They don't have the defense to be able to stop other opposing teams from putting up points. Atlanta has one half of the equation solved. And Atlanta also doesn't have special teams. Like Atlanta, in terms of getting good field position on a kickoff, they're just not hot when it comes to that.
How well do you think Young is going to be able to start off?
I think
that's the equalizer, is that it's a rookie quarterback first start.
I don't think that the way that Young carries himself and has already began carrying himself in comparison to some of his other rookies. Him and Anthony Richardson set themselves apart, and especially in regards to maturity and the way they've carried themselves on the field so far from what we've seen, far ahead of the rest of their peers. They supersede that category. I'm fine in regards to those two rookie quarterbacks. Younghoe Koo gonna kick hella field goals. My Younghoe tripping. My Younghoe Koo. Yeah, that's pretty much all that Atlanta has. They rely on him too much that he eventually gets nervous. He's like, fuck, and then misses like 2 of them. Arthur Smith is too much of a dumbass, uses talents. This is true. Yeah, I'm taking Carolina. Taco is going to take Atlanta, and I am telling you guys to start Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I'm starting. And flex Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen as a flex. You can start Drake London. You can't start Kyle Pitts. You have to start Bijan.
Yep.
You're starting those players because of you're starting those players though because of the values that you paid for them.
Yeah. No.
If Drake London goes out there and lays a goose egg, if Kyle Pitt lays a goose egg, we know why. Like, we get it. We're not surprised. If Bijan goes out there,
Drake London.
if Bijan goes out there and lays a dud, we have a bigger fucking issue on our hands.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
Yeah, running backs should not be doing that. They should be getting touches. Let's get into this Dolphins Chargers game. The Dolphins have had already a very interesting offseason. They lost Jalen Ramsey, and then they had to bring in Eli Apple, which we talked about earlier in the show. They have been in constant talks trying to find a premier top of the line veteran running back presence to add to their locker room. It looks like they'll be stepping out there this week with a Shane as probably the main workhorse because, of course, you have to keep Mostert and Wilson in check. Well, because those guys are old and get injured a lot. How are we feeling about this game? Chargers are favored 166 to 140. Dolphins being the dogs.
I think the number one thing that comes to my eye is that over under at 51, second highest over under after the Chiefs and Detroit. I think that everyone's expecting this to be a shootout. You're expecting your studs to score. This is the kind of games that you dream of because this is one where you're expecting a back and forth shootout. I'm firing everyone up. Most starts getting fired up for me. I'm firing up Mike Williams. I'm firing up Keenan Allen. I am not firing up Quentin Johnston. He's sitting on my bench. Josh Palmer, if I need a desperate throw, I'm firing him up. No. Yeah, he's starting as number 3, wide receiver 3. That's in this kind of a shootout game. You're predicting a shootout in this game.
Just so you know, starting does not mean anything. That just means that you are out there for the first snap. Just so that you know.
I understand.
That does not. Saying. I'm just making sure because people will be like, "Oh, well, this player is the one that's starting," and then they don't see him the rest of the series. They're like, I thought that this player was starting. I'm like, you dumbass. That just meant they were out there. 3 receiver sets.
You're right. You're right. In 3 receiver sets, he's starting. But with the high trending points, and if you're desperate, like I said, if you're desperate, these people that are going to be.
It's week 1. You shouldn't be.
You have people that drafted Kupp. You have people that drafted Taylor. You have people that drafted.
You should have other options.
I don't think he's going to be a bad play this week. I think that this is going to be a shootout, and I think the Chargers win it. I don't trust the Dolphins. Dolphins got Jalen Ramsey that's out. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Chargers defense, we're expecting them to hopefully be better than last year. But, Vegas is predicting 51. I think it could be right in there. I'm definitely expecting both quarterbacks to hit. I'm expecting both wide receivers on both sides to hit. I'm expecting Eckler to hit. And if I'm starting any running back from the Dolphins, it's Mostert.
For Dolphins running backs, I'm not starting in either of the older veterans. Give them a little bit more time.
Wilson's out. It's just him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right. But I even still, I'm wait on that a little bit. I'm even cautioned about A-Chain even starting A-Chain.
I'm not starting A-Chain at all.
A-Chain will be the one that'll get most of the carries. I expect that to kind of start up week 3 for him. Yeah. So give that time. So I'm shy on playing any Dolphins running backs. It's not a backfield that even last year produced a whole lot of fantasy value for you. There were other backfields that you could have gotten pieces of, and hopefully you did, and you navigated that, and you do have that on your roster. Definitely give me Tyreek, Waddle. I'm all with that. I'm good to go with there. Those are really the only 2 Miami pieces that and of course Tua that I give a fuck about. Sauce me Braxton Berrios. Oh Lord. Fangio. Yeah, I know. Just with this Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore, this is going to be defensive mind, offensive mind, back and forth. I'm absolutely gonna love it. I've been on record to say that Herbert could possibly win the MVP. Give me Mike Williams. Give me Keenan Allen. I do think that you can run a flex play for Quentin Johnson this week. I do think that Quentin Johnson gives us a welcome to the NFL rookie moment. He tore it the fuck up during preseason. Every preseason game that we turned on, this kid was fucking going off. And they were using him heavily. heavily. And if you guys remember his welcome to the NFL rookie touchdown during the preseason, that first unit defense was also out there on the field. The kid can absolutely fucking ball. I'm not concerned about the body catching issues. And I think that he's done a lot to really correct that, and even done not just correct that, but then also even know when to make that an attribute of his. So I do think that Quentin Johnson gives us some welcome to the NFL rookie. Maybe you don't have to put him out there in your fantasy lineups, but I could see him. I could see me taking a prop, throwing like $5 on like a single prop for him to take a touchdown, and I would not be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Quentin Johnson ends the day 55 receiving yards and a TD, or 60 receiving yards and a TD. Like, I very well see that.
That sounds like, to me, if like you said, when we're putting together DFS, we need that final dart throw, someone cheap to balance out my lineup, so I have a couple of studs in there. That's the kind of guy, if I want to take a dart throw on and believe in him, that's
well, 60 and a TD from your flex receiver, or if you're starting 3 even, that's a really good day.
That's what I'm saying. Like that. That's why if you feel like that, that's because the value in DFS is going to be there. Like,
yeah, give me Gerald Everett. Give me all my Chargers this week. Give me all my Chargers. If I have someone in powder blue, if they're wearing white and powder blue, they're getting thrown out there.
Everyone but Palmer.
But yeah, Palmer's not gonna. Yeah. Like Palmer, don't get me wrong. Palmer will get his like this season. Like he'll have. And should anything happen to any of the other 3, absolutely you toss him in. But then even still, whenever he is utilized, it's kind of like this weird swap off, like this
Listen,
7.
I don't think he's great. I'm not a Palmer truther, but I think it's to be interesting their usage between the two of them. And
it's like a 7-3 split with him and Guyton, and you never know which of those 3 out of the 10 plays that Guyton will be out there. Yeah, it's like a really weird fucking thing. But yeah, I'm definitely taking the Chargers. Give me LA all day with that one. Philadelphia Eagles, they are a -190 favorite to the +164 New England Patriots. 45-point over under, so 4-point spread. The New England Patriots defense is probably the only thing that keeps us within a 4-point spread.
That in the running game. And again, this is someone that watched the Jets game. You kill the clock. You keep the offenses off the field, which is what.
How many first downs do you think that offensive line, let alone, can be able to allow the running game to get?
Oh, this is where hopefully your scheme comes into play. I mean, Bill Belichick's a fucking wizard at getting shit done. You know that,
dog. It's the fucking Philadelphia, Georgia freaking Eagles. This team had 78 sacks last year. Okay, that is practice. We haven't seen no shit like that since Legion of Boom. We haven't seen no shit like that since the Monsters of the Midways, fucking 85 Bears. Okay, and like that team had like what 105. Like, come on, bro.
I mean, I agree with you. That -4 to me seems like a smash,
Yes.
If they don't win by a touchdown, it's kind of a problem for the Eagles because like you're really then saying like exactly what I said happened. The running game for the Patriots and the short passing game was so potent that they dominated the time of possession so that the Eagles can barely try to make shit happen on the field. That's the only way that the Patriots win. An ugly AFC East type battle.
And Darius Slaying letting you do that short, dink and dunk shit on him. Because as soon as you go to Juju with that, Darius Slay's gonna light that man up. Darius Slay's gonna light that man.
That's one thing. Everything I'm hearing about Juju, like they're talking about his knees gonna explode at any time. My God, I don't even know if I want to play him in a game because what if that shit happens in a game? Like, bro, I don't know.
They don't like each other already because of last year. The fact that this is the first game that the Philadelphia Eagles get to go out and see trash talking, shit talking, TikTok and Juju Smith fucking Schuster, they're going to punch that man in the mouth. They're going to over and over and over and over and over again.
It's going to be bad.
Because Philly don't got to see don't get to see the Chiefs for a hot minute, so they don't get that revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Bill loves his cover zero. Give me Keyshawn Boudier. Look, I think that the Patriots defense will go out there and look good. The Patriots losing will not be at any fault to that defense because there will only be so much that defense is going to be able to do before Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, DeAndre Swift, Dallas Goedert all start having their way. And the thing is with the Eagles offense is that you can't key in on any one piece. You could very well, before the first half of this game is done, we could very well see 3 different skill position players all have touchdowns. There will be a player on this team that will have 2. A.J. Brown will have 2. A.J. Brown will have 2 TDs this game.
Yeah, maybe good as bad as anyone. You know, it could be Dallas Goedert, who runs the most routes and tight end.
Yep, Carter, Dean, Brown, bro. Like it's that Philly defense is just so.
The Philly general manager in general has built a ridiculous team.
Absolutely. Yeah, for me, I gotta take Philly.
With the points, -4, smash. Yeah.
And I think that
over under, I'm not touching. I'm not touching the over.
I think New England can do enough to where 45 over can hit. Like maybe Ramondre gets one, Zeke gets one. So now we're looking at
if you compare the level of confidence of the -4 to the 45, it's like night and day. Like -4 is a smash, 45 is like maybe not. Like if you're feeling risky, take that 45.
I don't think that you should play too many spreads.
If you're doing a smash,
you should play too many
parlay. You don't take the over under. You just take the points. Like if you want to smash this with like that, what was it? The Jags. You know what I mean? A couple of the Ravens, maybe like add a couple of those bad boys in there, and you're sitting pretty.
Yeah. So we're both on Philly on that one. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's not enough that McCorkle can do to lead New England. In terms of players I will start from New England, Ramondre Stevenson.
And no. Who's their kicker? I'll start their kicker. Their kicker is always money. Falk was money.
Can't even remember who the fuck their kicker is.
Gotkowski, whatever the fuck his name was, money. Vinatieri was money.
Devontae Parker.
Money.
Not playing Devontae Parker, not playing Juju. I have one league where I am playing Juju. I have one league where I am.
We'll sit on my bench, but I'm gonna be so interested.
Yeah, I'm super interested to see K1. But Zeke is getting a TD. Bro, I could very well see Zeke being like, "Oh, look, I still have it." Like, you know how players do that whole week 1 shit? Like,
bro, if he does that, I will like. And this is the one year I don't have much Stevenson because last year I did have a lot of Stevenson. But if Zeke does that, man, oh god, people are gonna be like fucking dying.
Well, I said that him and Ramondre could both have one.
Yeah, I know, but like they'll both have one, but now all of a sudden the worry levels start to go up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, just don't.
The worry levels. Chad Ryland is the Pats kicker. Dude, I have not even in my drafts with
never heard of that guy.
Drafted.
I bet this guy's gonna start hitting 60-yard field goals, knowing Belichick.
We are almost at the end here of the slate. We only have a couple more games to break down. The Raiders, the Broncos. Another 4-point game, 44 over under. Broncos 198 favorite, 164 underdog. The Raiders. You had some spicy takes about the Raiders. Are you still sticking with that?
I mean, like I said, I think they're pesky. I don't know if they're gonna. They're definitely not winning the division, but they can compete for the playoffs. They have enough pieces to do it. I think when you see even some of the stuff that's going down on Twitter with Chandler Jones and
Chris Jones,
Chris Jones, excuse me,
Chris Jones with the Chiefs.
Yeah, like literally, he was like locked out of the facility. He's reaching out to the GM. He's reaching out to his coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it looks like it's a bad situation with the Raiders. So with that being said, guys, your best running back holding out. I'm not liking this game for them so much.
Oh, he was talking about the Chandler Jones. Yeah, that's why I said I was like, oh wait, he was talking about Chandler Jones.
Yeah. So I personally, I think the Broncos can do enough to win this game. I'm not loving the +-4. I think it's probably gonna be closer to a field goal type game. So I'm not smashing anything really in this game. I'm not even taking anything outright. This is a toss-up game, in my opinion. Like you said, the divisional aspect of it makes it even closer. You're going to probably see the Broncos without Judy. How much is Russell Wilson going to rebound? Where's Jimmy G going to really lay? How much is he going to use Adams? There's so many questions in this game that literally I'm just not touching it. I'm not touching it. I'm starting my fantasy players I spent high capital in, but I'm not touching this game.
Yeah, I feel like you play in this one. You obviously play your guys that you spent high capital in. If I wouldn't be shocked if Marvin Mims, for the receiver for Denver, really does come out not just this week but the whole season and shows us some consistency and really just goes off. With that being said and stated, though, I am approaching the Denver passing game outside of Greg Dulcich with caution. Just because I just need to see it all first. I need to see it all put together. I'm obviously playing Devontae Adams. I'm obviously playing Josh Jacobs. I feel like that goes without saying.
Yep.
Garoppolo is serviceable. You can be confident in Garoppolo's ability.
As a super flex kind of league. Yeah, start him.
Yeah,
if you have
exactly. I don't. If you're gonna play defense, if you're gonna play a defense in this game, I feel like it's gotta be Denver. Just all of the pieces there together collectively. And then you have the second best corner in the game behind Sauce Garner and Patrick Surtain too. The second, I'm sorry. Gotta love having some PS2, having a guy like PS2 on your team. So yeah, give me the Broncos.
I'm really interested to see how some of those pass catchers, the secondary pass catchers from the Raiders, get their target shares dispersed, because you're looking at Hunter Renfrow and Jacoby Myers. I was a little bit shocked when I saw Myers go there, because Hunter Renfrow was a thing. Like Hunter Renfrow was
they paid him. Yeah, they paid Hunter.
Yeah. So I'm very interested to see between those two guys who end up, because Hunter Renfrow probably didn't go in a lot of leagues. Hunter Renfrow is probably floating around in some places, or he's really stupid low on some people's rosters.
The way that Hunter went undrafted in fantasy this year, he's the kind of guy that you can easily forget. He's a fly on the wall that you can forget.
Especially in PPR, where it's like he had 7 catches for 70 yards. That's 14 points. Yeah, that's the kind of shit he does. It's like he won't get the touchdown, but he'll get 5, 6, 7, 8 catches, and all of a sudden
he can. It's just that his
a Dinkin Dunker. He's like, hey, listen, Dunkin runs. America runs on Dunkin. This is why a guy between Myers and Renfrow, I think one of them could end up being viable in fantasy, but we don't know which one yet, so you can't start either one.
Yeah, one will end up cannibalizing the other.
Yep.
I feel like stay away from that game a little bit if you can.
Yep.
Green Bay, Chicago. This one, a 115 to a 105. They are on the money line. 43-point over under 1 point spread.
This is the closest spread of the entire slate.
I think the Bears continue to own the Packers. It's just new ownership. That's all.
Listen, this line.
No. I think the Bears now get ownership of the Packers. Is the way I meant to say that.
This line makes me think Vegas isn't that nervous about Jordan Love.
How can here's my thing.
Vegas would be bigger spread if they were more nervous.
I'm more nervous about Jordan Love.
You are.
I think that Vegas is looking at this and saying Favre, Rodgers.
Yeah.
You know what? This organization just takes guys, makes them sit for a little while, and then they put them out there.
You have the solid running game already there to help ease him in. You know,
I don't think that Jair Alexander can hang with DJ Moore for 4 quarters.
That is gonna be a big question, and the question is gonna be for the Packers: who really emerges as this number 1 wide receiver? Because
Christian Watson,
other than Christian Watson, nobody's really taking anyone. But between Dobbs, you're hearing all these beat drums on all these stations. I've been listening to Sirius XM lately, and I just hear these guys on the radio banging on Dobbs. So we're gonna have to look at this and just, we're observers here. Listen, fantasy football is a 17-week long game. Okay, we need to. Dobbs in most leagues is not probably drafted, or if he's drafted, he's probably someone that you might be able to trade for. You know what I mean?
He's getting drafted later. He's in that late round dart throw range.
Late round.
When you start getting into round like 14, like round like 12, 13,
he
14,
might be the kind of guy where you can make that sneaky deal and steal him early, or get a guy that doesn't really believe in the volume. But I think in this passing offense with a new quarterback, I know all the capital is spent on Watson, and that's what we're expecting. But we have to see how
your capital is spent on Watson.
I didn't spend it, but most people ADP wise, Watson by far.
Yes.
Yeah, Musgrave, he's looking like elite. Like, okay, as far as like routes run and like all that kind of stuff that you look at for a tight end, he's putting up the elite metrics. But he's a rookie. How well is he gonna do? Can he hold up? What does this look like? There's so many questions on this Packers offense.
Rookie tight ends don't transition into the NFL in the way that people
listen.
want.
I know what you I know. Listen, that's why I think in most cases when you get these rookie tight ends, you want to pair them with a solid veteran and try and kind of hope by the end of the season that these rookies start to get comfortable. End of their
third season.
By the end of this season,
it's by the end of the third season. The tight end position is the hardest to develop in the NFL. What are you talking about?
While I know what you're saying, these tight ends are not being drafted like that. The Dalton Kincaids, the Sam Laportas, and the Luke Musgraves have all gone within the first 15 rounds of your draft.
Yeah, but you still have to take time to develop them. So tight end, you're coming out your first couple of years for tight end, your first season or two, you're mostly, and especially your first games, it's really a lot of blocking assignments. You're not coming off for the pass like that. Maybe we see Kincaid do that a little bit, for Buffalo. For Buffalo.
I'm looking at Musgrave.
Again, we have to remind ourselves about the whole Kyle Pitts experiment and all these other rookie tight ends that we've gotten. Travis Kelce didn't even his rookie year burst onto the scene that way. Okay, you're not getting a tight end to have as a rookie to have a breakout like that since Jeremy Shockey.
You're right.
That's years since that has happened. So that being said and stated, to sit here and try and I'm not going to be the one to sit here and be like, yeah, you need to go and start, or start thinking about Musgrave or, for dynasty, if we're going to, give a dynasty take.
Well,
think about Musgrave. Think about Meyer. Think about Kincaid.
In one QB redraft leagues, Kincaid, Laporta, Musgrave, they're all drafted. They're all of them drafted. And I think for these guys, we want to see how their usage is. For the Packers, that's what my point is. We really don't know who's going to emerge. The routes run for Musgrave is trending towards something that we don't normally see. And it's, again, you got to see it before you believe it, because no other tight end's ever done it. No other tight ends has done. But just off of preseason, he's someone you gotta watch. You have to watch. You have to see what happens. because his ownership is or his rostership isn't that high, and if you the potential here for volume is
it's
not
not
huge.
it's not
Huge.
anything that you need to write home about yet.
I don't know about that.
You to Leaf's comment here, you can start Aaron Jones, you can start Watson. I'd be willing to be willing to flex Watson or Dobbs, or like have Watson out there as my wide receiver 3. This is technically when about you should start seeing between years 3 to 5 is when you kind of start seeing that breakout for tight ends. So yes, Kmet is due, and Kmet actually now has an offense built around he's around an offense now that where he should be profitable. I'm definitely willing to play Kmet this week. Definitely willing to play DJ Moore and firing up both of those running backs for Chicago. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about Mooney and Claypool just yet, but we will see how that goes. Rams, Seahawks. Seahawks favored here, minus 245. Rams an underdog plus 200, 5.5 points spread, 46.5 on the points. This is Seattle all day for me, and you can fire up all 3 of those receivers for Seattle. You could pretty much start all of your Seattle skill positions here.
You're starting JSN?
Yeah, I'm gonna start JSN.
You starting Chardonnay?
Yeah.
I think the Higbee and Van Jefferson are guys from the Rams that I'm interested in. Puka is someone DFS wise I'd be interested in. He's someone that right now, I mean, if we're talking about end of your roster, you have an open spot, you're looking at your waivers. He's another guy that I'm looking at because volume is king. I don't care about what anyone says. You're on the field for volume. You got an opportunity. Now, what you do with it is another thing, but this is the first flag that we have. Do you have the volume? You know what I mean? And that's going to be the question because with no cup, that target share going to have to go somewhere. And we expect Higbee then to have a really solid game. Van Jefferson should fall into some volume. And then someone else is going to have to get some work. And, between Puka, Tutu Atwell, but from everything that McVay's been saying, it seems like it's Puka. And he said that he's going to have significant playing time early. That's a direct quote from McVay that I saw pop up on Sleeper. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah, Puka Nuka's definitely going to have to see some significant playing time here, especially because a lot of teams kind of already know what they are going up against and are going to have to deal with Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson's not exactly a guy that is a defensive coordinator that you go, oh, well, guys, like Cooper Kupp's injured now, so now we have to fully game plan for Van Jefferson. You're not really doing that. Not to say that Puka isn't that guy, but we don't know just because of him being a rookie. Puka, a guy that I feel that has a lot of potential to be a star in the NFL, that could really be a star on that Rams offense. The Rams struggled really, especially after that whole Super Bowl run. 1, to stay healthy, but 2, to really establish a dog as a wide receiver 2. They kind of had a couple of wide receiver 2s that they would kind of play around with. They tried the Allen Robinson experiment. OBJ there for a couple of games, and help them, put the cap on that Super Bowl there. But I mean, other than that, they haven't had any real like dogs that they can say, hey, as the Los Angeles Rams, that's our 2. They don't have the same luxury as Washington. They can go, hey, Dotson, there's our 2. Seattle, break down this game, they can say, hey, DK, there's our 2, or on Sundays, Tyler Lockett's the 2. Ayuk in San Francisco, hey, you're the 2. These other teams, Higgins in Cincinnati, that can really be pointed at and say that that's our guy.
Allen Williams.
Yeah, they don't have that. Unfortunately, this is a team that is still trying to find its identity outside of Cooper Kupp, outside of Matt Stafford. This is a team that is super young.
And the one other thing that really is going to probably be the most interesting thing for us if Kupp's not playing is what does the running back snap share look like? Is it a Cam Akers full 3-down roll that we were seeing like at the end of last year? Or is it going to be what the rumblings and the whispers are that Kyron Williams is going to come in and play passing downs? I think more than likely we're going to see them bell cow Akers to start with and let him lose the role. But this is going to be something that, again, we're going to have to watch, because maybe this is the kind of thing where we want to move off a guy early, or you want to trade for a guy because people aren't realizing what's going on. Because name value, it really does a thing. You know, some people are just like, I got Akers, but you know, you might be able to trade him off for a low piece. That's why you watch what the value, what the volume looks like, what the game looks like, because you might just be like, damn, he might not get the passing work I thought. Let me trade him now before he fully tanks out and try to get something back before I lose all value. That's why you got to watch.
Yeah, I'm going Seattle here. I don't care about the over under. I'm not even going to play it, but give me Seattle for that 5.5.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you here. Seattle should pull away, and this should be a DK Metcalf special if we're lucky.
Yep, I'm just not confident in the Rams quite yet. Dallas, New York, Sunday Night Football, and then we go into Monday night. Dallas is favored 170. It's a 3-point spread. Obviously, it's a division. Every divisional matchup that we have gotten into, notice how close the spreads get, guys. You'll always notice that trend in betting,
except for Seattle and the Rams, because the Rams are dog shit.
Yeah, so 5.5, so not too bad. But 46.5, they're on the over under. It's an NFC East divisional game. I feel like the over is a little. You're getting a little too excited if you're going out there and betting the over on an Eastern game.
Yeah, I expect a defensive slugfest, just because that's what we get when we see these guys play. Like, let's face it, like, you know, there's early season matchups with like Dak threw a lot of interceptions last year. I mean, Jones didn't, but he wasn't really lighting the world on fire with touchdowns. He was really more of a yard getter, and that's what held his fantasy value up and held the Giants up in real life. But how does that equate to this year? I think with the Giants, we still have enough questions about who's going to be your main pass catchers. What does that wide receiver room really look like? I think Hodgins is going to be the guy on the outside that we're going to get. I think in the slot, it'll be a little bit more messy, and eventually Hyatt will play up. I'm hoping that for Giants, we get to see some Hyatt. I know a lot of people are wanting to see Hyatt, but I don't think we're going to get as much of him as we'd want as fantasy footballers. Don't cut him if you see that he only has a couple of snaps. Don't make him. I drafted a team.
Well, that'll be next week's episode where we'll kind of get into that type of stuff, like overreactions, reactions, like that. Yeah,
I think the one thing that we got to look here is the defensive backs for the Giants. There are a lot of young rookies there right now. And this is the type of game where it's going to be on Dak Prescott to go out and ball out. So truthfully, those Dallas pass catchers, I'm starting them. I'm starting Cook. I'm starting, obviously you're starting CD. Obviously you're starting Pollard. But I am not shying away from Cook in this matchup. I'm definitely playing Cook this matchup. If I'm desperate and I need to throw in Gallup, maybe, but definitely a Cook in this matchup. Tight end, the rookie, I'm not really believing in it that much. But I think you might see Cook put up definitely wide receiver 2 numbers in this game. I'm expecting a big game from Brandon Cook on the opposite side of the ball. I think the Giants end up pulling it out because this team is about to take another level. I think that the offensive and the defensive coaches are fantastic. I think Dable's running a great ship, but I am biased. I am a Giants fan. So, take that with a grain of salt.
For me, when you lose an offensive coordinator like Kellen Moore, only one of two things can happen for Dak. Either A, the interceptions will persist and continue because, well, realistically, he probably wasn't the fit for a Kellen Moore go to the air type of, offense like that. But maybe, they tone down a little bit because, hey, you don't have to go to the air as much. Dallas did not look great during the preseason whatsoever. I get that a lot of that was us seeing and experiencing those depth pieces. We still started to see how this backfield and what talent this backfield had, and it's not explosive outside of Tony Pollard. Deuce Vaughn can go out there and he can do some things. I feel like it should be a Pollard and Vaughn type of show. CeeDee Lamb is CeeDee Lamb, right? And we're going to expect that. I feel like you can start CeeDee Lamb with confidence. I don't know if you can start Brandon Cooks with confidence. If you're heading into Thursday night and your flex players are between, or if you're heading in, I'm sorry, not Thursday, but if you're heading in, Sunday night and it's like, I have a flex player that I could play in the Monday night Bills Jets game, or I could play, one of my guys in this Dallas game, in this Dallas Giants game. If it's a Cowboy, I'm probably not gonna play him just because I want to see how this offense works itself out, and how life breathes through this offense post Kellen Moore. With that said and stated, though, I am going to take the Giants. I am starting Saquon Barkley. I am starting Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones could be a good starter for you. The only reason why you're probably not starting Daniel Jones is if you are worried about this game not having enough passing to it. Well, then hopefully you have someone else to where if you have a Kirk Cousins, if you have a Tua, obviously you're going to go with those choices, right? Right. I don't know if I want to start any of the Giants receivers just yet. I think that you wait. Yeah, I think that unless you're desperate, I think that with your Giants receivers, you're probably waiting until at least after week 2 to get some data onto who's going to be more consistent. And this is the show that's going to be able to track that consistency for you.
Hell yeah. If I'm a betting man and you're telling me to start one Giants receiver week 1, it's Hodgins, definitely firing up Waller. But obviously,
Waller,
you're drafting Waller high. But definitely, if you're telling me you have to start one Giants receiver, I would start Hodgins. But to what you were saying about Cooks, would you start Gabe Davis or Cooks?
I would probably start Gabe Davis.
Would you start Allen Lazard or Cooks?
I would probably start Allen Lazard.
Ooh, all right. That'd be interesting.
Actually, there's no probably. I would definitely start both those guys over Brandon Cooks.
I definitely would not. Definitely not. I think that the Giants secondary isn't good enough for me to shy away from. It's a 46.5 point total on this game. Gabe Davis has been proven to be.
I can't trust Cooks to run the fucking
draft capital was high enough to justify an automatic start, though.
It was pretty much around about,
before, right around maybe a little bit before pick 100.
Yeah, it's like it was pretty much around like that same kind of dart throw-ish range. And there's still other guys in that range that I feel like you could get away with, and you could take, you could trust, and there'll be guys in later rounds that I feel like will truly elevate. Cooks is getting older.
Yeah, but I just don't trust the Giants secondary to hold up long enough, and they're going to shade more coverage to Lamb, which I think is going to really give Cooks the opportunity to get at least a 5-catch, 70-yard possible touchdown game at probably the minimum.
Okay. Finally, Bills, Jets, Jets. Who are we taking here in this one? The Bills or the Jets? These two teams. Wow.
I think we know who we're all taking in this one. It's no surprise here. It's a +2.5 for the Jets, -2.5 for the Bills. I'm smashing that +2.5 all day. This is going to be in MetLife Stadium. You're going to have the Jet fans going fucking crazy. They will be nuts. This is the first time the Jets have had a generational quarterback. Do you understand? You will have old men and young kids on their feet 30 minutes before this game. This defense will feed off that energy. Robert Saleh is going to get these boys ready to go. You don't think Garrett Wilson and Rodgers are going to put up 2 touchdowns on this game? You don't see them putting it out like we are here. Discount, double check this. Nah, man, I'm going Jets all day in this one. I like what the Bills have done over their run, but what we saw at the end of last season, I think might be a precursor of what we see this season. they may not be as good as we thought they were.
Dalvin will take the load, not Breeze. I could definitely. Aaron Rodgers loves having the veterans, and
They'll
veterans
both be
love playing for
RB2s.
Rodgers.
They'll
Yeah.
both be RB2s.
Look, it's the Buffalo. You guys have won me so much fucking money. Like, y'all have paid off whole fucking bills. Okay, I get it because you're the Bills. With that being said and stated, I want to take a cruise down Narrative Street. I like that the Jets are a at-home dog, and you need more at-home dogs. You need dogs to really build a juicy parlay.
Yeah.
So I am going to take the Jets. And I am going to take the over on the points. And I don't care that it's a divisional matchup. And I've been preaching divisional matchups traditionally don't go over. I said traditionally, okay, damn it. I didn't say that it can't happen. And if there are two teams that can allow that to happen and that can make that happen, on film, it will still look like a great defensive battle. It'll still look great. We'll get to the end and we'll be like, oh, shit, like that was a 48-point game. But with that being said, yes, Von Miller is out this week.
That's the crazy thing.
With that
48 is only 24-24.
Exactly. I could see this being hard fought. I think the Jets plus 2.5 is a great play. But I really love the Jets money line outright. And I'm really loving the over on this one. It's Monday Night Football. It's back. Rodgers, Allen, let's go.
I take the Jets with the spread. I take the Jets with the money log, but I'm more leaning towards the under because it's a defensive team. And man, listen, what are the Bills going to do when Sauce shuts down Diggs? What are they going to do? Like, how are they going to generate offense? Is Cooks going to really go off and be the guy we thought and hope he'd be? So I'm going under. I think Sauce touch it down, and it's going to be a Brandon Cooks game. I'm taking every prop bet on the over for Cooks. Every prop bet I could see.
Let's see here. Blurpay. Let's see here. T-Law, Rodgers. Running backs are Etienne, Connor, White, Dillon, and P. Ryan. Wide receivers are Diggs, Wilson, Debo, Watson, Judy, Tony. Tight ends, Higbee, Ravens defense, and kicker is Myers. Solid team. It's a solid team. I really like, you having Rashad White on that team because he's obviously going to be the RB1 there. They're going to probably start him out as a bell cow before they get Tucker kind of involved into the fold. ETN will probably be getting most of the pass catching duties out of the backfield until Bigsby can be brought along. Connor's the only thing that's fucking breathing in Arizona.
I love the late tight end in Higbee. I think that his volume upside right now for where you considered the draft capital that you invested in him is a phenomenal play. Like, you got him in like the 10th, 11th round. And right now there's nobody there. So like, it's just a good opportunity. Like, is he going to make the most of it? We'll see. But the opportunity is there because clearly you spent early capital on those wide receivers. And that wide receiver room is fucking stacked. Like, you're talking
about I like that wide receiver room. Judy and Tony just need to stay healthy for you. And your running back room, your running back room is super serviceable. Those guys will go out there week in, week out. They'll put up the points to complement everything that the receiver is going to do. I feel like the receiver is going to carry the bulk of your team.
The only thing I would say is I don't know what you have because I know you spent Higbee 12th round draft capital, and I don't know what kind of depth on your bench you have, but a Juwan Johnson type or maybe one of these rookies who are running a lot of routes type might be just a solid backup just in case Higbee gets hurt, because that's the one kind of knock I feel like on Higbee is that something always happens to him and he's out a couple of games. So you just want to make sure that you hedge your bet just in case on that 12th round pick. If you don't have roster space, then this is kind of the game where you have a couple of tight ends that you chew up and you start watching and you kind of know who's there, and in case of an emergency, you kind of run out and you kind of know who you're gonna get versus like, oh my god, who am I gonna get? Make a panic pick, and next thing you know, you're just not.
Chig is a good one to be able to
If you get
grab
him on
off
as
the
a backup,
waivers.
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, you for your backup tight end, just keep him on the bench and store him there and leave him, and we're good there. Yeah, but Chig is the one. Chig is the one.
Yeah.
Other than that, Taco, where can people find you?
You guys can find me at TDS Taco on Twitter. You can find me at Rumboys After Dark and a couple of other Rumboys properties. You can find me here at Big Guy Sports. Me and Robbie are going to be doing some more content. We'll be consistently delivering you player information, slate walks, and a multitude of other things to get you ready for your seasons. Like we say here, you know, we're trying to get you a championship here, one goal at a time, one touchdown at a time.
Absolutely. This is the Goal Line Goons. Catch us live every week, Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Next week, we will be back with all of the reactions for week 1. We're going to look at your rosters. We're going to retune. So be sure to message us at BigGuyFS on Twitter. Link is down low in the description. So be sure to click that. Give us a follow. Give us a share. Give us a like. Give us a comment. Give us a subscribe. DM us screenshots of your lineups so that we could edit them into the show and be able to assist you guys. Next week is going to be insane because we're going to have to clean up all the week 1 mess. Tonight we went through the slate. We went through our betting picks and everything like that. We went through our fantasy football players per game, who we would start, who would not, who's hot, who's not. Be sure to go back, rewatch the show, like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy, RumboyzRobbie. Give me a follow on Twitter. Check me out on the Rumboys Fantasy Network as well. But more importantly, check both Taco and I out here on Big Guy Fantasy Sports. This is the Goal Line Goons. Goon Squad.
Touchdowns, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Preaching on it. Yeah.